on the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield. Live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar inside the Hyatt Regency in Coralville. This is Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery. Brought to you by Iowa Corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Made right here in Iowa since 1895. By your local Ford dealers. Iowa Lottery. Be a VIP with the Iowa Lottery. Visit ialottery.com for details. University of Iowa Healthcare. Changing medicine, changing lives. U.S. Cellular. The official wireless partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes. U.S. Cellular. Built for us. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Hy-Vee, score big savings with a Hy-Vee Perks membership. Mid-American Energy, look up, look out for overhead power lines. Visit midamericanenergy.com for electrical safety tips. Midwest One Bank is the presenting sponsor of Hawkeye men's basketball. Visit MidwestOne.bank for empowered money management. Member FDIC. And by Wimmer's Meats, the official hot dog of the Hawkeyes. Here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome in. The temperature's dropping. The November winds are blowing, but the holidays are here, and so is Hawk Talk with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery. I'm Gary Dolphin. We're inside the Hyatt Regency, the toasty Hyatt Regency in Coralville in the Iowa River Landing. And I'm joined, as always, by my broadcast partner, Bobby Hansen. Coach McCaffery will join us shortly, as will the Hawkeyes All-Big Ten forward Peyton Sanford. He'll stop by and discuss the Hawkeyes' 5-1 start to the new year and rehash the team's first loss of the season last Friday night in Kansas City at the NABC, the National Association of Basketball Coaches Hall of Fame Classic at the T-Mobile Center. A 77-69 decision in favor of Utah State. A rough night shooting for the Hawkeyes, plus they got out-rebounded by 16. We haven't seen that up until now. But really good first half. The Hawkeyes had a 4-6-point lead at the break, but couldn't sustain it. The Aggies of Utah State put in 20 in the end, 24 second chance points, and that goes right back to rebounding. And up until that point, the Hawks have rebounded well. Bobby, you were in Kansas City. Great to be back with you. What'd you see? What'd you ascertain?
Yeah, I couldn't make a shot, Gary. It just couldn't make a three-point shot. And everything else was good, and I think we have some injuries with our shooters, so we've got to get those guys right. Number one, it's good to get Josh Dix back, but he wasn't the same, and Peyton is struggling with his right shooting wrist a little bit, but the kids competed. There was this crazy point in that game when Falsleff guy threw in a buzzer-beating three-pointer, and I think it was a three-point game at that point, 60-57. The Hawks were down at 7 minutes, inside of 7 minutes, and desperation heave went in, and it just seemed to take the air out of everything there. Hawks would pull within two, but it just sort of wanted going away at that point. But yeah, the rebound numbers, when you looked at them after the game, it was like, okay, got to fix that. If you could make some shots, find a way to get the ball to Owen Freeman, big fella, get him some touches inside. He was double and triple teamed, and if you get it in there, maybe he'll kick it back out there and it'll open up the shooters for some open looks from three. But yeah, the story of that game was the shot just would not drop down there in Kansas City.
We were out in Maryland with the football team, and we were watching from the hotel, and had you and John Swisher on the laptop, and that last 5 or 6 minutes was really painful with the offensive rebounds. I mean, at some point the ball just comes off the rim going your way. Yeah. And they were getting to every offensive basketball rebound.
Yeah, they were hustling. They had the one kid, I think his name is Carson Templin. He was 3 for 4. He had 8 rebounds, and 4 of those were offensively. But, God, he just seemed to be right wherever the ball would bounce. I mean, they weren't an overly big team. I thought the Hawks held their own in there, but it was a really good game for Brock Harding. Career high, 19 points for Brock. He had 5 assists, had 4 steals, 3 turnovers in the game, but he really played well in that game. And unfortunately, you wasted it to lose a game, but was impressed with Brock Harding's play. And then, overall, of all these games, Gary, what are we at, 5-1, so 6 games. Really like the addition of Seydou Traore and Drew Thelwell. Those 2 kids are great finds by the Hawkeye coaching staff and are paying dividends already.
Yeah, at both ends of the floor, and we'll talk about that with Coach and with Peyton. But back to Brock Harding, 19 points. He had 4 steals, 5 assists. The Moline tandem, Owen was in double figures again with his points and his rebounds, and that duo is maturing right on schedule. We saw a great effort by both in Moline against Washington State a couple weeks back, and they came to play as all the Hawks did, but they put up some phenomenal numbers. Brock has told us on more than one occasion he's really worked on his shot since last season ended. All through the spring and summer, he's gotten up thousands of jump shots, and it's starting to pay off for him.
It was evident the other night in Kansas City. Yeah, look at his numbers, 8 of 15, 3 of 6 from deep, 19 points, the career high, and he's shooting with confidence. Gary hit some timely three-pointers for the Hawks, too, in the second half there. Put us ahead 46-43 and, again, 49-47. So it was a back-and-forth game up until that crazy shot went in. But good to see, because the kid is a hard worker. He brought energy every single play down the court. He's plays with an attitude, plays with a little chip on his shoulder. And you got to have that when, he's, 6'1", 6'2", Brock Harding is. And he's the floor general out there. And nice handle of the basketball, and was giving it up, putting the ball in position where the guys could score.
You never know what you're going to get on a neutral floor, a neutral setting. You and I have been to Kansas City a number of times in T-Mobile, the old Municipal Auditorium. Heck, the Hawks upset Tubby Smith and the defending national champion Kentucky Wildcats one year in the old Muni Auditorium. But T-Mobile's a great basketball arena, but that might have had something to do with the shooting. But one thing that has been a constant is the way Iowa shares the basketball. They lead the Big Ten in assists to baskets. They're 11th nationally, and that didn't change the other night.
No, I had 19 assists in that game, Gary. Made 28 baskets made, but even prior to that, the assist numbers have been good, and they take good care of the basketball too. Don't turn it over, so those assist to turnover numbers are going to be good. It's just, defense is getting better. Nobody's a defensive stopper, an All-American defensive stopper, but you're making the other team work, and the end of the defensive possession, you got to rebound. You got to rebound the ball, whether it bounces your way or not. You got to go get it. All 5 guys have got to really be concentrating on that moving forward, and I think that's what they will be working on when you look at that the stat the other night. But yeah, it was a heck of a game. Great environment. A lot of Hawkeye fans down there. A lot of black and gold. You didn't know
Kansas City,
Wichita State, or Iowa, because they played after St. Louis and Wichita did. But the Hawk fans came down, and what a great venue and a great little area there, the Power and Light District. I can see why the Big 12 has such a good time down there.
I'm sure more than a handful of people were looking for Ed Podolak. They still remember his great years with the Chiefs.
Bet.
But Kansas City, great town, and a great eye club in the Kansas City metro. Back to Thelwell and Traore. Let's start with Drew. We go back to last Tuesday. The Hawks defeated Ryder before they headed to Kansas City. Drew Thelwell had 7 assists, tied a career high with 5 steals in Iowa's win over Ryder back on November 19th. And I bring that game up because that's who he is. He can score. He put it on the deck, take it to the rim. But he is a steals guy, an assist guy, a consummate teammate.
Winner is what he is. Fran's been telling us that since they recruited him and brought him here from Morehead State. He was like the winningest player in Morehead State history. So, yeah, that's what you get with Drew Thelwell, and he's fiery, but I love how he distributes the basketball. I love his defense. I love when they put the press on, the 1-2-1-1, and kind of drop it back to half court, and you got Seydou out on the point of that, and he just stalks them out there and drives them right into where Drew is waiting, and quick hands. Drew Thelwell, to me, impressed me with how quick his hands are coming up with steals.
And we can't call him the Rookie of the Year. He's a sophomore, but Seydou Traore, I love that name, number one. But he came in from Manhattan in the offseason, the other transfer, the All-Metro Atlantic Conference rookie team. I was looking at his numbers from a year ago, Bobby, as a freshman. 12 points, 8 rebounds, 34 block shots, and 64 assists. And that, if that transcends to, those numbers transcend to half of what he did there in the Big Ten, that's a candidate for the all defensive team.
Yeah, he looks the part too. I mean, he just has chiseled body that he has, and he plays one speed. I was talking to Andre, our new strength and conditioning coach. I said, that guy's got one speed, and that is fast forward. He's coming at you. And Seydoux is, good question for Fran and the staff. Is like, how'd they find him? How'd they recruit him? How'd they get him from Manhattan to come here to Iowa City? But what a great find. I just love watching him play, and glad to see that he's healthy. He was battling a little bit of a foot issue the first couple of games, but from the first time he stepped on the floor, you could see right away that this guy's a player.
Part of the reason he found his way to Iowa City is the head coach at Manhattan is a good friend of Fran McCaffery.
Oh, there you go.
It is a buddy boy network, as you know. And plus, Fran coached in that league. So he's well known, and I'm paraphrasing what Fran said, but he said the coach called him. He said, look, we're not going to be able to keep this guy. We're not going to be able to afford him. He's going to go somewhere and make some money. I'd like you to take a look at him. Fran said, I looked at one tape and thought, you know what, this guy can play in the Big Ten. And right now, with the Hawks through 6 games, he's averaging 8 points, 4 rebounds, and a block, 1.5 block shots a game. But I love him at the front of that 1-2-2 press.
Yeah, and those numbers are only going to get better and better when he sees more minutes on the floor and gets more comfortable in what we're doing here in the Hawkeye system. So, yeah, he's a really nice piece. Cooper Koch, we haven't talked about yet, freshman. Comes in from, a legacy recruit, JR's son. Cooper's a player as well. Kid can shoot, he rebound, he's tough. Not afraid to mix it up in there. So, yeah, again, the future's bright.
The Hawkeyes lose to Utah State 77-69. They thump Ryder by 25 last Tuesday. And now we look straight ahead. And, Bobby, tomorrow night, here's another game. That's what I love about basketball. There's always another game around the corner to wash that bad taste out of your mouth. And South Carolina Upstate comes in with a Waterloo native and a former Drake assistant coach heading up that program, and that's tomorrow night over at Carver Hawkeye Arena. I'd love to see a great crowd out there.
Yeah, I took a look at him this weekend and realized that Marty Richter, I'm like, where do I know that name from? And then you dig into his bio, you see he was a coach at Drake, a Waterloo native, as you mentioned there, Gary. So, yeah, he's going to have some fun coming back here into Carver Hawkeye Arena. The record is not great at this point, but they had to get a whole bunch of brand new players. But the town of Spartanburg is where USC Upstate, and closer to Charlotte than it is to Charleston.
Well, they're 2-6 because they played mostly high-level Division I teams.
Got to do it when you're at that level.
Yeah, exactly, including Wake Forest. They only lost by 5 to Wake Forest in their most recent game. That got my attention. That's all you need to know. We'll talk more about South Carolina Upstate with Coach McCaffery when he gets here. Peyton Sanford has arrived on the scene, and when we take our first break, we'll come back and talk to Peyton for a few minutes. But thanks for joining us on the Hawkeye Radio Network. And let me tell you about the Hyatt Regency. We're in the beautiful, remodeled, so we can call it brand renew Hyatt Regency for another year of Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery, presented by the Watermill Kitchen and Bar at the Hyatt Regency Coralville. We will continue with the program from the Hyatt Regency after we take our first time out. But this Iowa River Landing is something else. It's grown after the remodel of the complete Iowa River Landing, and the Hyatt Regency is right along with it, right down at the bottom of the hill with the gigantic U-turn. As you head back up the hill, you see all the wonderful new businesses and existing businesses now that have been here for several years. And you can join us right here on Hawk Talk each and every Monday night. Typically Monday night throughout the season. There will be a couple nights where a couple Mondays where the Hawks are traveling, and we'll adjust our program. But for the most part, we're right here every Monday night. I know we're here for the next 4 or 5 Mondays at the Hyatt Regency Coralville's Watermill Kitchen and Bar. You can watch the show live each week. They're offering an extended happy hour, including $1 wings. That got your attention, Bob Hansen. $1 wings, $3 drafts and domestics, and $5 house wines. So be sure and stop down any night, but especially over the next few Mondays at the Watermill Kitchen and Bar, and join us for a great evening of Iowa basketball. When Coach gets here, of course, we'll go to your Facebook, your Twitter posts, We've got a text line you can reach us on. We even have an email website or an email address you can reach us. So let me give you those before we go to a break. You can reach us on Twitter at Gary Dolphin. Any question, any comment about Iowa basketball, on Twitter at Gary Dolphin, on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. The U.S. Cellular text line. Thank you, U.S. Cellular, for providing us a text number this year, 319-853-8344. Text us your questions or comments at 319-853-8344, or email us at hawktalk@HawkeyeRadioNetwork.com. As a proud sponsor of the Hawkeyes, U.S. Cellular wants to make you aware of what they bring to the game. They make the most of today by choosing game day traditions first and scrolling later. U.S. Cellular, built for us. We're at the Hyatt Regency in the Iowa River Landing in Coralville, and we're back in just a minute on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from Learfield.
Midwest One believed in us and gave us the money to get started, and it was great.
We're talking with Jack Piper of Jimmy Jack's Rib Shack.
In 2005, they were there when we opened Jimmy Jack's Rib Shack. They've been there every step of the way with funding and great feedback on how to expand our brand. Midwest One Bank has been great, and with the recent uncertain times, we got through it, thanks to Midwest One Bank.
Midwest One Bank. Simply better banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hawk fans, stop in and visit the newly renovated guest rooms at Hyatt Regency Coralville Hotel and Conference Center, located in the heart of Iowa River Landing. Stay within walking distance of Extreme Arena, home of the Hawkeye volleyball team, as well as great restaurants, shopping, and scenic walking trails along the Iowa River. Hyatt Regency Coralville is also the home of Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen and Fran McCaffery. Come together at Hyatt Regency Coralville, where everything you need is right here.
I'm Wyatt Black, defensive line, Iowa. On the field, I take on double teams, stop the run, and sack the quarterback.
Sullivan now runs for his life, and he's obliterated by Wyatt Black. Here's the snap, the spot.
Yes, and it's blocked it. Kick is don't touch it. Don't touch the ball.
Hawks get it back. Wyatt Black, that man, what a momentum shift there.
Off the field, I help my body's defense by choosing vaccines that are right for me. Ask your doctor or healthcare provider which vaccines are right for you.
A message from Iowa HHS.
Hawk fans, be sure to visit and connect with these local business partners of the Iowa Hawkeyes, located in the Des Moines area. Card Law, Community Choice Credit Union, and Royal Flooring. Royal Flooring is your one-stop shop for the finest things in your home. Find the best material from the most trusted brands in our beautiful, fully stocked showroom in Urbandale, or shop in comfort online at shoproyalflooring.com.
People are having a hard time containing their excitement about the new Holiday Scratch and Instaplay tickets from the Iowa Lottery.
Holiday tickets? I love these!
Especially when they find out you can win part of over $1 million in second chance cash prizes when you enter any holiday ticket in the Iowa Lottery's VIP club.
$1 million? Woohoo!
Yes, woohoo indeed. Cash prizes are coming to town from the Iowa Lottery.
Woohoo!
See rules at ialottery.com/VIP.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
Hawk Talk basketball from the Hyatt Regency, the Watermill Kitchen and Grill. Stop out any night. They've always got great specials. And, man, I was talking to Matt, the general manager here, tons of Christmas parties coming up here. They've already had a few and many more to come over the next 30, 35 days. By the way, happy Thanksgiving to everybody, all of our wonderful Hawkeye fans and all of our wonderful Hawkeye basketball fans in particular along the Hawkeye Radio Network. We'll get to your Twitter posts, your Facebook feeds a little bit later on. But let's welcome all Big Ten forward Peyton Sanford to the microphone here on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery, the leading three-point shooter in the Big Ten a year ago, 91% free thrower. fabulous season, and he's back for his final year, his swan song with the Hawkeyes. And thanks for coming out on a chilly night.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're used to this in Waukee,
yeah.
I know you, huh?
I live for the cold.
It's basketball season.
Exactly.
Right? I think Iowa City's a little south of Waukee, so it's a little warmer here tonight.
A little bit.
Well, let's go back most recently to Friday night. We were watching the game out at Maryland with the football team, and obviously something was off. I know your wrist is bothering you. How you doing?
I'm fine. Been working with the doctors and trainers, and I'll be fine. Played through it. It's not an excuse. Just didn't play good enough, but yeah, we'll be good.
Well, you have nights in a neutral setting, let alone on the road, where the ball doesn't go in. I know rebounding, and the Hawks have rebounded well up until this point, but you got out-rebounded by 16. And when I looked at the sheet and saw 24 second-chance points for Utah State, I go, that's where it got away in the second half.
Yeah, we were in good position a lot. Sometimes we got some bad bounces. But, yeah, that's definitely been a point of emphasis. It's something we're working on with Coach. It starts with me. I got to be better in that department. I only got 3, and I pride myself on rebounding. A lot of times, it felt like I was in the right spot. I was boxing out, and, the ball's hitting hard, or it's an air ball, or sometimes it's out of your control. But it's definitely something, if we want to compete for championships and, to be in the top of that Big Ten, it's something, we have to improve on.
We were talking about that before you got here, about the bounces, the air balls, whatever. Sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce your way. Bobby?
Yeah, absolutely. It happens, and that's why you pick yourself up and you move on to the next one. But I know that didn't sit well with you guys. So what's the mood of the team right now?
Yeah, we've had some really high-level energetic practices out of this. It's a game we absolutely felt like we should have won. It felt like, we play the way that we're capable of. It's a game that we would have came out on top, but sometimes in, the game of basketball, that's not how it goes. So a lot of guys are angry. A lot of guys are really hungry to get back to it and play tomorrow. And then, after that, we've got a gauntlet coming up. So, I'm proud of the way that the guys have responded. I think, you really do find out how good your team is when you're dealing with adversity. So the way that we come out of this will say a lot about, the leadership of this team and, just how we handle that as a group.
Oh, you're the leader. You told me this summer you really like this team. Top to bottom, the roster is deep. Fran has said it's his deepest roster. A lot of firepower on offense. And you thought it would be a better defensive and rebounding team, and it has been. But you were raving about the character, the chemistry, the makeup of the guys and their personalities.
Yeah, it's a great group to be around. I think there's a lot of guys that want to lead. There's a lot of guys that are really, really good teammates. And I'd go down the list, and I'd say that every guy here is a high character guy who wants to win and wants to do their best for this program. And that's been important. We haven't been able to field our whole team healthy the whole year, and it's not getting any better. So the depth that we have and the guys that have been able to come in and make huge impacts on the game from the bench, and we had Riley Mulvey come in and play huge minutes. Carter Kingsbury's played big minutes, and those were guys that weren't really expected to do much outside of this program, but we know how good they are. And top to bottom, I'm proud of the way that guys have stepped up when things have been tough and there's been a lot of adversity, especially with those injuries. And I think that's going to take us a long way when we get closer to March and we have our full team together for hopefully the first time.
For sure.
Yeah, and I agree 100%. Versatility this team has, Peyton, that I see, and you guys can play different positions. You can play out on the floor. You can go down low inside. But talk about sophomores, Brock and Owen, who have really made a lot of progress from year 1 to year 2.
Absolutely. I thought Brock played really, really well the other night. He brought a much-needed spark when things weren't going well. Owen played really well, and he's continuing to get back in shape from his sickness, and he's been playing really well and playing more minutes, which is huge for him. And those two together obviously know how to play well together. Price has made a huge jump. He needs to stay aggressive when we play in these big time environments and big time games, and I know that's something that he's going to do. And the way that he came out this year and really set the tone was impressive. Lodge's made a huge jump. He's doing good things on both ends of the floor. Seydu came in, he joined that class, and he's been playing really well.
Didn't he? Yeah.
I think his role is only going to continue to increase, and he's going to have a huge impact on this team in the way that we rebound. He's such a good rebounder, that he can do really good things for us, and he'll keep showing that with just increased time on the floor and getting used to this level of basketball.
Yeah, and talking to the assistant coaches, one of the things that was mentioned to me was in that game, Utah State, you had to win the transition game. And you look down at the fast break points, 21-4, just couldn't get going. And that's probably a byproduct of the rebounds. But, yeah, what, were they doing anything different, dropping guys back to stop the fast break or what?
I think a lot of the times, we were just playing a little too sped up. We had some turnovers early in that second half when it felt like we could have extended the lead to 10 or 12. And, it was just uncharacteristic of us, some of the things. A lot of them, we got really good looks from three that obviously weren't going down. I had probably 8 or 9 shots from deep that felt like they were going to go in and hit the front of the back of the rim. And, if you're not missing on the sides, as a shooter, you can't really be upset about it. You get good looks and you just keep letting them fly. And, teammates and coaches kept telling me, just keep firing. I'm getting great looks. These are looks that I make feels like 80% of the time. And
green light.
If you're missing them, I think, you gotta ride with it. And, I'm glad other guys stepped up. But, that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Peyton Sanford is on the John Wooden Award preseason watch list, which is the College Basketball Player of the Year. The Julius Erving Small Forward of the Year preseason list. Bobby and I remember Dr. J. You were probably a toddler when Dr. J was wrapping up his career. But, Bobby, nobody played the game harder than Dr. J.
Yeah, I remember competing against him. I was in shock. To be honest with you, he was guarding me. Yeah,
he's a little bigger version of Michael J.
In Philadelphia. Yeah, I think I made a shot, and he said, "Hey, nice shot."
Great guy, great game, great ambassador
guy
for the game.
Oh yeah, ran into him down in Aruba one time. We were vacationing, and he was taking a group from Orlando down there, down to the Marriott. We had a good talk down there. But yeah, what a competitor, and that's a big honor, Peyton, to be named to those lists. As you have been here early in the season.
Yeah.
Well, and the Lute Olson National Player of the Year Award. He's on the watch list.
I saw that.
You're in some pretty rarefied air, guy.
Yeah.
And the fans want to talk to you. Len on Twitter says, question for Peyton. What's one thing you worked on this summer to elevate your game for your senior year?
A lot of things. I think it really started with athleticism, and that, has really helped me defensively. I think I've made huge strides this year on the defensive end, just making reads and being able to sit in a stance and, guard my guy. And I think I've taken a lot of pride in that end, and I think you've seen that across the entire team. We've taken pride on that end. We've made huge strides so far, and we've got to keep getting better as we go into, all these bigger games. And but I think we will. We've got the right mindset, and that was something that was really special for me. And then, on the flip side is, just continuing to do as much as I can to improve as a shooter, which, is going to pay off. It's a long season. I'm not worried about the way it started right now, and there's a lot you can work on, and I think I've made the necessary improvements that I felt I needed to make.
You've been through it before.
Yeah.
You've proven that you can come out of a shooting slump. You're not like you have horrible form or anything.
No.
Just maybe, take a look at your shot selection here and there and take a step in closer maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're coming up short.
There was some, it was like, I'm off the hand, it felt good. So I think I'm like probably 5 or 6 inches away from being 9 for 13 in the game, which then we win by 20, and you feel a lot better about it.
Yeah. Game of inches, yeah. How about Sam on Twitter? What did you learn from the NBA tryout camp process last spring?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was just how important confidence is, especially to make it at that level. And I've talked about it before, but there's always the LeBrons and the Kevin Durants, and those guys are going to be in the NBA regardless. But guys like Bobby making it in the NBA, if you're going to be a shooter, you got to be the most confident shooter in the world. So I think that's something I really took away. I missed 10 in a row. I'm going to keep firing, and that's something I did the other night. And it didn't pay off then, but it's gonna absolutely pay huge dividends down the road. And
yeah, the thing I always said was you got to get with the right team.
Yeah, that's huge.
With a team that somebody
helps.
Wants you, needs you, whatever the reason is. But you go with the wrong team and you got no shot.
Well, a lot of the teams that you see kind of struggling in the NBA really didn't even come after me because it's all the teams that play ISO ball, and I'd never make it in the system anyways. It's like, I'm working out for Boston and the Sixers who are struggling, but the Warriors, all those teams that run like disciplined offenses and get the shots they want.
Yeah.
That's kind of the teams that were targeting me.
How was that whole process for you? I mean, away from home, and everybody's throwing stuff at you all over the place. How do you process it, number one, internalize it, and then go out and do it the next day? And you have to do it day after day after day. There's no days off.
The training that we did, so I left right after the season, and the training we did was brutal. We'd be in the gym I moved out to New Jersey right away, which was in Newark, which not my favorite city in the world, but we made it work. But we're training. We get there to the gym at probably 10, and we're there till 3:30 or 4. They had us eating vegan, which was different. It was still pretty good, but it was different. And then, go home, rest for a little bit, come back, shoot all night.
Now, wait a minute. They're force-feeding you vegan?
It's all they would offer us. And then occasionally I'd sneak in like a Chick-fil-A sandwich or something.
Enough, man.
Yeah, who was they? Who's running these things?
Basically, you can sign with an agent, and they have all these different trainers.
I got you.
I worked out with a guy named Alan Watson out in New Jersey, who was a really good guy and good trainer. I switched it up, and I'm with different people now out of Chicago. But it was a great experience. I worked out with Deron Holmes, who ended up getting drafted in the first round by the Nuggets, and we did everything together, lived together, and he tore his Achilles, unfortunately, before the year, but he's going to have a great career, and he's a good friend. But to go back to your question, you're after that, so I was there in New Jersey from the beginning of April through the beginning of May, and then you're on the road. I think I was in a hotel for 29 straight nights from May 1st to the 29th, which was decision day, up until the decision day. So it's exhausting, it's lonely, but you learn a ton about yourself. It's kind of the way, I guess, the NBA can be at times, just pretty isolated in everything you do. And I think I learned a lot about myself. And
maintain that confidence, man.
Absolutely.
Great experience for you, though.
Absolutely. It was great.
One more for Peyton Sanford, Iowa's star forward out of Hawkeyes. Tim, as a player, what do you think about the new Big Ten? Well, we really haven't experienced it yet, but you will starting next week. But you've been watching it as it's unfolded through the football season with UCLA, USC, Washington, and Oregon. Exciting, longer road trips, but hey, that's the age we live in.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel for some of those guys because when I lived in Newark, I flew out to LA a few times, which is what Rutgers to USC and UCLA.
Yeah,
and it was awful. Like it's like you're leaving the country.
That's a long trip.
It's like 6 hours. So, but it's weird when you turn on the Big Ten Network and you're watching UCLA play basketball, or you're watching Iowa go down to UCLA and play all these guys. It's a little different. And honestly, there's the new teams, but all the teams that we have already played against have all new guys from the portal. So, like I was walking around media day and like talking to some of the Northwestern guys who were back and some of the Wisconsin guys, and there was very few people that we all knew. We'll put it that way. It's all new guys across the board.
It's the world we're in, my man.
Exactly. It's a new world. No consistency.
We got some of the Big Ten Network guys here, the technical guys here tonight, staying here tonight, getting ready for the big broadcast tomorrow night, the televised broadcast of Iowa and South Carolina upstate, coached by a Waterloo native, longtime Drake assistant. I'm sure Matt Gatens gave you a pretty good scouting report.
Yeah, I actually know Marty pretty well.
Marty's a good guy.
The house that I grew up in, which is right next to the Jordan Creek Mall in West Des Moines, he lived in our next door neighbor's house.
You're kidding.
Which was is one of our good friends. He still comes to all the games. So we go back and look at the old house, and it's Marty outside playing with his kids. So he's a good guy, and
good coach.
Seems to be doing a good job. Yeah, did a really good job with DeVries over there. He was always at our high school games. So
now they're 2-6, but they played 4 high-powered Division I teams. Wake Forest most recently. So you know what you're getting into tomorrow night. You got to come out and do your thing. Right?
Yeah, they got a lot of really good players. They're well coached. They've got guys that can really score the basketball, can shoot the basketball, can make plays. So it's absolutely a challenge, and every game's different, like Coach always says. But we got to be ready to go, and I expect nothing less from the way that we practiced today and just the energy that's been around.
I appreciate you coming out on a chilly November night. Happy Thanksgiving to you and the Sanford family and Price. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Okay?
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Great to see you.
Job.
Good to see you.
Thanks, Peyton. How about Peyton Sanford coming out here on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery, our inaugural show for the new season. Fran is here. He will join us next in a minute after we take a break here from the beautifully new remodeled Hyatt Regency in the Iowa River Landing. You're welcome to come out any night, but especially tonight. We're at the Watermill Kitchen and Bar right in the Iowa River Landing. You can take a look at their brand new fall menu. Now, you want to pay attention. They have some incredibly exciting, locally inspired specialties like cornbread shortcake. How about that? Cornbread shortcake, harvest flatbread, and pork belly ragu. Sounds amazing, doesn't it? It's even more delicious. We're so excited to try these and many other dishes throughout the season's show on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery each and every Monday night. There'll be a few nights other than Monday when we're here because of the Hawkeyes schedule. Remember, they play 31, 32 games versus 12 for football. But we are a crew of adjusters, so when we come back, we'll get Coach McCaffrey's opening thoughts on how he feels about the first 6 games of the season, and we'll talk about South Carolina Upstate coming up tomorrow night. All live at the Hyatt Regency, and we're here until, 8:30 tonight. Time for you to come on out. We'll be back in a minute on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from Learfield.
Tournament Club of Iowa, designed by golf legend Arnold Palmer. TCI is his only signature course in the state. TCI is a public course offering a challenging yet enticing experience for golfers of all levels and is managed by Kaler Golf. Cap off your round with breathtaking views and a delicious meal at the TCI Bar and Grill. Looking for a unique setting for your wedding party or outing? Look no further than the newly renovated clubhouse at TCI. Visit tcofiowa.com to book your tee time today.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024, U.S. Bank.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
Cancer doesn't care. It doesn't care what you look like, how old you are, what you do, or where you live. We do. University of Iowa Healthcare is doing more to beat cancer than anyone in the state. From second opinions to life-saving treatments that happen here first. We lead the way in research, training, and care because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Time now for the Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield Health Coverage Report. When you enroll in a Wellmark individual or family health plan, you get an HMO network that includes over 32,000 providers. Plus, you get support from a company that's been serving Iowans for 85 years. Now, those are some impressive numbers, and that's health coverage you can feel confident in. Find the right plan for you at wellmark.com/covered. Enrollment ends January 15th.
Quinn Schulte, I play safety here at the University of Iowa. On the field, I stop the run, I make the tackle, and I get interceptions.
Rosmer to throw, has time. Yes, it's deflected, intercepted again by Quinn Schulte. He's running the other way at the 40-yard line. Hawks have another turnover. We're going to slam the lid, hopefully, down. Here's an interception. That'll do it. And it's Quinn Schulte. And down there, the Hawkeyes will have first and goal.
Off the field, I help my body's defense by choosing vaccines that are right for me. Ask your doctor or healthcare provider which vaccines are right for you.
A message from Iowa HHS.
We're rocking and rolling through opening night on Hawk Talk with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery. Happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays to everybody. The Iowa River Landing tastefully decorated, as is First Avenue and the Strip. It looks beautiful. And tomorrow night, we hope to find a raucous crowd waiting for the Hawkeyes up at Carver Hawkeye Arena as Iowa hosts the University of South Carolina Upstate. And with us now, Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery. Peyton Sanford, I think he's got a career in journalism after his basketball career is done. He's pretty vocal. He carries on a conversation, Fran.
Yeah, he's a really smart guy. I mean, he's very intelligent, really studies his craft, knows what's going on, and as a result, I think is doing a great job leading this team I've been really impressed watching him. Now, he had some great mentors, with, coming in with, J-Bo here and Connor in particular. I mean, those two really took him under their wing. And last year he was leading with, some other guys. But this is his team this year.
A week ago, the Hawks knocked off Ryder by 25, headed to Kansas City on Friday night to take on a solid Utah State team, a team that was leading the country in points per game at 104. The defense was there. Break it down for us at neutral court setting. The Hawks had a rough night shooting.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because we had really good shooters taking good shots. You watch the film and you're like, okay, should we have held on to it longer, moved it? I think Peyton took one bad shot, and he's got the ultimate green light anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So he can shoot whenever he wants. So I wouldn't even say that was a horrible shot. We maybe could have held on to it, like I said, for a little longer. But, Josh Dix took really good shots. I mean, Price, the three of the best shooters, in the country for that matter, were 1 for 19. That probably never happened again. And like I said, I was proud of them because, they're in a zone. We were moving the ball, shot, fake, drive, and kick. Shoot when you're open, read the fly. They did that. Price made some good plays off the bounce. And, I thought the beginning of the second half, we had a chance to extend it. We turned it over a few times in transition. We got a little antsy. Probably should have pulled it out, made them play defense for a while, and, try to take it from 4 to 8. We had a couple opportunities. We shot threes when we were up 4 or 5, to get a chance to go to 8, 7, 8, like that. And, it didn't happen. But the kids fought till the very end, and we learned from it.
And Coach Brock Harding, it was career night for Brock. I thought the best game that I've seen him play. He was pushing the tempo, he was making his three-point shots, and leading the team. Your thoughts on Brock?
Yeah, Brock was great, and I knew he would be. Very few teams play zone the whole time like they do, and he was great against it. Not only getting 19 points, hitting some threes, but making plays for other people. Owen had a bundle, and a lot of that was from Brock. And then we had some opportunities to play Brock and Drew together. They were really good. The press was really good to us, which is critical when you're not shooting the ball well. You got to create some offense with your defense. You got to up-tempo the game. And the guys did a really good job of that.
Yeah, I really like that press, Fran. Yeah. What do you call 1-2, 1-1, and then when Seydou comes into the game, him and Drew, they're just hunting down steals.
Yeah, Seydou's as good as anybody we've had. Aaron White was special at the point of that, but we've had some really good guys up there. Aaron White was one. Patrick was pretty good up there. We had some long guys. Jared Uthoff was pretty good up there. We kind of moved him around. But Seydou might be the best up there, getting deflections and getting guys to pick their dribble up in the backcourt, 10-second count still going. So I was really impressed with him.
Fran, Bobby, and I were talking about the impact that those two transfers have made on the program this year in terms of defense, rebounding, just court awareness. And I love Seydou at the front of that 1-2-2. Talk about Drew Thelwell and Seydou Traore's impact from your perspective, and go back to when you were recruiting them.
Yeah, it's a different situation. They're not freshmen. Now Seydou's only a sophomore, but these guys are veteran players, especially Drew. And when we recruited him, we told him that's what we needed him to be, and he's been everything we would have ever wanted. As fine a person as you're going to have in a locker room. Talks all the time, talks on defense. Very positive guy. But he's a player. He makes plays, he makes shots. He's smart, he's tough, he plays both ends of the floor. Seydou is an incredible athlete with unbelievable length. Versatile guy, plays like a guard sometimes, plays like a small forward, plays like a power forward. Pretty much guard anybody on the floor. And both of those guys are mature with their personalities, so they don't rattle. Things weren't going great. Those guys were really good. They didn't rattle. Just keep making plays, hang in there, stay in the fight. And they're, quite frankly, a great blend to what other players we have, and that's why we recruited them out of the portal. You know, we're just not stockpiling talent. We want to get guys that fit and guys that make sense for our team, because otherwise it doesn't work for them either. If they want to play, they want to be a part of it, they want to have an opportunity to do what they can do, and they're both playing at a very high level, very happy, and we're going to need them big time tomorrow night.
And it shows in the stats. I mean, Iowa's always been in a good assist team. You mentioned J-Bo. You can go back historically in your 15 years here, the great guard play you've had. Your team this year is assisting. Now, granted, we're 6 games in, but your team has assisted on 68.5% of made baskets. That's number 1 in the Big Ten, number 11 in the country. It's we say off the charts every year, but especially this year. And I know you got to be proud of the guys, the way they share the basketball.
Well, you know, it's important to do that, but it's important to do that without turning it over. And, you know, our team led the nation in assist-turnover ratio a couple of years ago. Connor did it twice. Connor's second in the history of Division I basketball in assist-turnover ratio. So we're going to assist on a lot of it. We're going to push it. We're going to have a lot of assists. Doesn't do you any good if you're turning it over. You know, get an assist, turn it over. No.
What do you say? Play fast, don't play crazy?
Play fast, don't play nuts.
Don't play nuts.
And we played a little nuts the other night at the beginning of the second half. We played a little nuts. But it's a fine line because, you know, I want them to be aggressive. And I encourage them to be aggressive. So you need to be aggressive. But now there's nothing there. We pushed it. We thought there'd be something there. There's nothing there. The post isn't open. Nobody's open at the three-point line. Well, now we've got to grind it. And knowing and understanding exactly what to do in every possession, whether we shoot it 4 seconds into the shot clock or we shoot it 26 seconds into the shot clock, make the right decision.
Coach, I've been impressed with Cooper Koch in his contribution. I mean, he's a little bit finding his way, but the kid's a tough kid. He showed he can make a three-pointer and not afraid to mix it up in there. And he's out there at the point of that 1-2-1-1.
He does a really good job there as well. Yeah. Plays with unbelievable energy, really good shooter. He's going to be special. There's no question about it. And I'm excited about him because I know his character, his work ethic, and, you know, that sounds like what coaches are supposed to say, but it really applies to that kid. You know, he's a student of the game. He grinds in the weight room. He gets in and gets extra shots up, and he's picked stuff up pretty quickly because he is a freshman. And we talked about the other guys that are new, but they're not freshmen. He is a freshman, and we're throwing him in there against some really good players, and he's doing great.
It's our maiden voyage of Hawk Talk with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery. We're at the Hyatt Regency out here in Coralville, beautiful area of the Iowa River Landing. We'll take a break and come back with Coach McCaffery. Go right to Twitter and Facebook. Also, your email questions. And if you'd like to text us on the U.S. Cellular text line, you're more than welcome. The Hawkeyes in South Carolina upstate. We'll get a scouting report from Fran a little bit later on the opponent tomorrow night. But right now, we want to tell you we're brought to you tonight by Wellmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Wellmark Blue Cross Blue Shield knows that quality coverage takes a great team. And like the Hawkeyes, with a Wellmark individual and a family health plan, you'll get the coverage you need with the doctors you want. Find the right plan for you at wellmark.com/covered. More Hawk Talk from the Hyatt Regency in just a minute. This is Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from Learfield.
Cancer doesn't care. It doesn't care what you look like, how old you are, what you do, or where you live. We do. University of Iowa Healthcare is doing more to beat cancer than anyone in the state. From second opinions to life-saving treatments that happen here first. We lead the way in research, training, and care because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today? The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever. Oh my goodness.
Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
Midwest One believed in us and gave us the money to get started, and it was great.
We're talking with Jack Piper of Jimmy Jack's Rib Shack.
In 2005, they were there when we opened Jimmy Jack's Rib Shack. They've been there every step of the way with funding and great feedback on how to expand our brand. Midwest One Bank has been great, and with the recent uncertain times, we got through it, thanks to Midwest One Bank.
Midwest One Bank, simply better banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide, experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides the direct connection to free, confidential, and compassionate support. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained crisis counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. You are not alone. For 24/7 support, call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org. A message from Iowa HHS.
Hawk fans, be sure to visit and connect with these local business partners of the Iowa Hawkeyes, located in the Des Moines area. Car Law, Community Choice Credit Union, and Royal Flooring. Facing a criminal charge or complicated family law situation, Carr Law Firm has the trial experts you need. As experienced trial attorneys, we understand how much is on the line. Go to carlawiowa.com for a free consultation. That's Carr with 2 R's, lawiowa.com.
We're back at the Hyatt Regency in the Iowa River Landing in Coralville with our first Monday night show of Hawk Talk with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery. The Hawks take on South Carolina Upstate tomorrow night at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Come in with a 5-1 record. And the food is delicious. The drinks are icy cold, but we've got hot chocolate and coffee for you as well. If you'd like to join us on this chilly November evening, it's going to get colder as the week comes on. So please join us in toasty Carver Hawkeye Arena tomorrow night for the tip at 7 o'clock between South Carolina Upstate and the University of Iowa Hawkeyes. Let's give you a U.S. Bank scoreboard update right now. U.S. Bank is a proud sponsor of the Hawks. We're in it with you for the good stuff and all the hard work it takes to get there, because together there is nothing as powerful as the power of U.S. Bank and the power of us. That is U.S. Bank. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. A number of Big Ten teams, basketball teams in action tonight. Ohio State has a 93-60 lead on UW Green Bay with a little over 3 minutes to play out at the Schottenstein Center, Value City Arena in Columbus. Minnesota, Central Michigan, they're in a tussle. They're at halftime up in Minneapolis, tied at 34. Penn State has defeated Fordham, 85-66. Michigan State wins big over Colorado tonight up at the Breslin Center. Actually, this is out the Maui Invitational. Michigan State has defeated Colorado 72-56 out in Maui. In the Fort Myers tip-off down in Florida, Michigan, a winner over Virginia Tech. Thought that would be a good game, and it was. The Wolverines prevail 75-63. A little bit later on, it's the Fighting Illini at home against the University of Arkansas Little Rock. Monday Night Football, they're at the end of the first quarter. It's the battle of the Harbaugh brothers, Jack versus Jim. And the Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens, Coach John Harbaugh and the Ravens lead Jim and the Chargers 7-0 at the end of the first quarter out in, I'm sure, warmer San Diego. Here it's the Hawkeyes and South Carolina Upstate in college basketball tomorrow night. Back to get a preview from Coach McCaffery on South Carolina Upstate in just a minute. Thanks to U.S. Bank for sponsoring all of our scoreboards again this year. By the way, since we're talking scoreboard, we should congratulate and say, way to go, Iowa soccer. Coach Dave Diani and the Hawkeye women's soccer team made it to the Sweet 16. They're their first ever Sweet 16 appearance last night out in Los Angeles and lost a tough one to Virginia Tech in L.A., but it took until the 79th 39th minute before Virginia Tech's Allie George found the net. This after Iowa goalie Macy Enneking had registered a pair of saves, but Virginia Tech escapes the Hawks 1-0. Virginia Tech, the 7 seed. The Hawks were the 3 seed. But Va Tech had knocked off number 2 seed UCLA on Saturday, and so you knew that was going to be a terrific game, and it was. But the Hawks go down 1-0. Great season for Coach Diani and the Hawks. It ends at 15-3-4, and those 15 victories ties a program record for Iowa soccer. Coach Diani continues to do an incredible job. So congratulations to the Iowa soccer team on a wonderful season and certainly a deep run in the NCAA tournament. They did it with defense. They gave up 12 goals this year, 12 goals total all season long. Their previous best defensive effort was 16 goals. How's that for defense? So Dave Diani and the Iowa soccer team will move on to bigger and better things starting next year. Before we take a break, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. We're at the Hyatt Regency in Coralville for Hawk Talk with Coach Fran McCaffery. 10-second ID break around the Hawkeye Radio Network. You're listening to Hawk Talk. Thanks to our flagship stations, WHO in Des Moines, WMT in Cedar Rapids, both 100 years old here in 2024. And they flank 55 stations around the Hawkeye Radio Network, as well as XM Satellite, where you're hearing Iowa and Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery. We're brought to you tonight by Iowa Corn. Throughout the Iowa Corn Cyhawk series, Iowa Corn promotes honest, hardworking values that are uniquely Iowan. On behalf of Iowa's corn farmers, we salute all athletes for their hard work and determination to be the best both on and off the field. Just like our top athletes, our state leads the nation in corn and ethanol production. Go to iowacorn.org and learn how corn grows Iowa. After this timeout, we'll come back with Coach McCaffery and go right back to Twitter, Facebook, as well as the U.S. Cellular text line and our Hawkeye email address. This is Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from the Hyatt Regency. Hawk Talk from Learfield.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
Midwest One believed in us and gave us the money to get started, and it was great.
We're talking with Jack Piper of Jimmy Jack's Rib Shack.
In 2005, they were there when we opened Jimmy Jack's Rib Shack. They've been there every step of the way with funding and great feedback on how to expand our brand. Midwest One Bank has been great, and with the recent uncertain times, we got through it, thanks to Midwest One Bank.
Midwest One Bank. Simply better banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hawk fans, stop in and visit the newly renovated guest rooms at Hyatt Regency Coralville Hotel and Conference Center, located in the heart of Iowa River Landing. Stay within walking distance of Extreme Arena, home of the Hawkeye volleyball team, as well as great restaurants, shopping, and scenic walking trails along the Iowa River. Hyatt Regency Coralville is also the home of Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen and Fran McCaffery. Come together at Hyatt Regency Coralville, where everything you need is right here.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide, experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, or just needs someone to listen, 988 provides a direct connection to free, confidential, and compassionate support. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained crisis counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. You are not alone. For 24/7 support, Call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org.
At MidAmerican Energy, our 1.6 million customers depend on our energy 24/7. That's why we work 24/7 to deliver the safe, reliable energy you need. To keep our 99.9% reliability record, we're enhancing our technology, improving resiliency, and investing in critical infrastructure. We're generating power from all available resources to cover any increases in demand. And we're innovating to ensure you always have the energy you need. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Welcome back to the Hyatt Regency in Coralville in the Iowa River Landing. Gary Dauphin with Bobby Hansen, former Hawkeye great, and Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery. Iowa and South Carolina Upstate coming up tomorrow night from Carver. And before we get the scouting report from Coach, we've got Jim and JJ both on Twitter and Facebook. And a question for both, ironically, for both Fran and for Bobby. How did you handle it when you had a shooting slump? And basically, Jim has the same question, but JJ was first in. To Bobby and Fran, how did you handle it when you had a shooting slump? Coach, you go first.
Well, the answer will be different for Bobby. I have a lifelong shooting slump.
You were a passer.
So I just,
come on. You were an assist guy, I know, but you could shoot.
No, I was break the defense down, get in the lane.
Find the guy that could shoot.
Throw the ball to Bobby.
Okay.
That was my job.
Well, that's a good answer. Bobby, you played 9 years in the NBA, played in the Final Four. You rarely had a shooting slump. But when you did, what'd you do the next day?
Go out and shoot. Just get to practice.
Get them up.
Get a buddy.
Shots up.
Stockton and I used to kind of get together and take the lid off the basket. Just pass to each other and just shoot until it was automatic at that point. And also during a game, get to the free throw line, see if you can drive the ball to the basket, get fouled, get to a couple of free throws. Maybe that takes the lid off the basket, but it messes with your mind a little bit. You can't let it. You got to maintain that supreme confidence that, as Peyton said, the next one's going down. You got to believe that. And I just practice, man.
You got to look at it this way. And I'm serious. Like when I played, there was no clock.
Good point.
And no three-point line. Okay? So, I wasn't necessarily a horrible shooter, but we had better shooters. So if you're not under the pressure to shoot at the end of the shot clock, or we got to make some threes, you move the ball to your best shooters that gave you the best chance to score. It's like, okay, I was open. Yeah, but if we waited a little longer, then Bobby would have been open. And it stands to reason that the percentages were better if he was shooting the ball than I was.
Know your role.
Yeah, so you didn't take it personally. It was like, you know what? I know who the three best shooters are on our team. I know who the best scorers are on our team. My job, if I want to stay on the floor, I got to lock up the other team's point guard. I got to initiate our offense. I got to push the ball on the break. I got to rebound my position. I got to get back and defend the basket and get the ball to the people that need to score. And I was fine with that. A lot of times, everybody wants to score.
Sure.
Well, now I think if I grew up today, it's completely different. We're shooting 38 threes in a game. You get a 50% greater return on one shot if you shoot threes. I mean, the analytics say we should shoot between 30 and 40 threes, right?
That's a lot of threes.
And then
Celtics are shooting 50.
Yeah, but if you have the ball at the end of the clock, you got to shoot it.
True.
I'm not going to dribble the last 4 seconds and throw it to somebody when the horn's going off. You got to shoot it, or at least drive the ball to the basket.
Yeah.
I played with guys that give it to you right at the end, give you the grenade.
Yeah, that way your shooting percentage goes down, not theirs.
The pin's pulled.
I'm not mentioning any names.
Give you the grenade.
Yeah. It was early. It was like, what? I don't want this.
Well, you were looking for Michael anyway, weren't you?
It wasn't him. No, he wasn't afraid to take it.
No, he would pull the string, no doubt. Well, those are both good answers, really good answers. So, JJ and Jim, hopefully that takes care of your query. Becky on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. Coach, I've heard that later this spring, probably next spring, the court case for NIL will be settled and schools will have a pot of money to pay players. How does that look at Iowa? Is there a plan in place to hit the ground running? Will each sport have a budget? Well, there's a lot of loaded questions in there, but I don't know about the pot of cash, but we hope so. The Swarm's doing a great job.
The best thing for Becky to do is just wait to see what happens. Now, Beth is working extremely hard on this.
Beth Getz.
And she's really smart. This is so foreign for all of us to have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm talking about Beth, I'm talking about Tony Petitti, the commissioner of the Big Ten, our foundation people, our athletic administration, our coaching staff. Okay, because all the recruits now have agents. You have 15-year-olds who have agents, and they're expecting this money that she's referencing. So if it goes as expected, each Power 5 program will have a pot of money that will be distributed to different teams accordingly. Now, the question then is, okay, does everybody share equally? I don't think that's going to be the case. What's going to happen is it's what's called, you'll hear it referred to as rev share. So it's revenue sharing.
Revenue sharing.
So the people that share in the revenue are the people that earn the revenue. So if you're not earning any revenue, then it stands to reason you wouldn't share in the revenue. Now, a lot of folks will beg to differ with that philosophy. So we don't know if that's going to be the case. And in a perfect world, we would want to have every one of our athletes, every one of our sports profit in some way to be successful. But I don't think there's going to be enough money to go around for every varsity sport, for every program, many of whom are not earning revenue. So everybody's okay, football's number one. Okay, we start with football. And we've all seen some of the salaries. We read about it anyway, I don't know if it's true or not, but the quarterback from here is going to get this amount of money. We heard some guys late in the process in the spring in basketball signing for big numbers. They waited. There wasn't hardly anybody left in the portal, and then they got a big number, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm assuming that it's somewhat true. But it's foreign territory for us, for our administration, for the league. And it's, I think, even more complicated for the fans to try to figure out, if you're a fan of a certain program, I think what she's asking, are we going to be able to remain competitive? Is another conference, is another team, is another state going to be better positioned to get better players? Are there going to be ways, if we go to rev share, is it going to be essentially like an NBA salary cap?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it going to be, it's a salary cap plus, like, for example, if you have Caitlin Clark, like, you can't limit what she makes from name, image, and likeness. All right? She's probably one of the top 5 athletes of all time in terms of her ability to earn income off her name, image, and likeness. And as we've talked about on this show, the Supreme Court voted 9-0 in favor of NIL. So if you want to complain about NIL, good luck. There's nowhere else to go. It went to the Supreme Court. It was 9-0. Okay.
That's pretty definitive.
NIL is here.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's not going anywhere.
No.
But to your point.
But it should be.
Get some boundaries around it.
Yeah.
Hopefully that happens.
Fran, is that revenue sharing, will that be equal among all the schools?
That's supposed to be equal.
Yeah.
It's going to be equal for the Power Fives.
Yes.
Because the other ones,
yeah.
they don't have $22 million.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
$22 million is not, you don't wake up and say, hey, how are we going to come up with $22 million? That's not an easy number.
No.
To hit.
No.
Puts a lot of pressure on a lot of people.
Yeah, buy a ticket, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully people are buying tickets tomorrow night. The Hawks in South Carolina, upstate. Becky, to Fran's point, stay tuned. It's changing. The dynamics are changing almost daily.
Fran, when will they know? Is there a drop-dead date?
My instinct is it'll be February. But if it's not, then there's a lot more going on than we thought that would have to be worked out.
Gotcha.
So who knows after that, Bobby? But everybody seems to think we'll have it figured out by February. I hope that's the case.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've got 650 athletes on the campus at the University of Iowa. Yep. They all work equally hard. And,
well, look at it this way, too, Dolph. Like, a lot of those athletes, okay, maybe they don't get rev share. They want to have scholarships, and they want to be able to compete at a high level.
Sure.
We don't want that to go away.
No.
Because you've heard this. Okay, well, if we're going to pay all this money to the rev sports, then we've got to drop sports. We don't want to do that.
No, absolutely not.
And that's not Beth's plan. That's not our plan. That's not what we want. So scholarships, even, in crossing into Title IX, it's all about opportunity. I think, my wife got a scholarship to go to college, play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And you want that to continue.
For sure.
You should be able, if you're Caitlin Clark, you should be able to make money. But otherwise, let's make sure that there's a number of different opportunities. I think of the number of kids that I gave scholarships to over the years that earned scholarships to come play for me and got degrees that would not have gotten a college degree were it not for me giving them a basketball scholarship.
Yeah, exactly. That's
first-generation graduates.
End of the rainbow.
Can't forget that.
For sure. And
Fran, will there be additional scholarships? Did I read that somewhere last week?
Well, what's happening, Bobby, is it's going to roster size. So, like in football, the roster size right now is 120. It's going to go to 105.
Go down.
Ours is going to go from 13 to 15. It'll be the same as it is on the women's side. The women's, you don't really need 15. You can use 15, but again, it kind of comes out of the same pot. So we can go to 15
if you want.
If you want, but then it's complicated on the other side. You know what? We'd be fine with 13. And a couple walk-ons.
Sure.
Well, whether it's rowing or wrestling, football or field hockey, basketball or baseball, Iowa's got great tradition in all those sports, and hopefully they're all around when we're sitting here a year from now. And it's only going to get more interesting, but there's always an answer, and hopefully Beth Getz and her leadership team will find those answers going forward. But good conversation. When we come back, Fran will give us a scouting report on South Carolina upstate tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock for the pregame show here on the Hawkeye Radio Network, Iowa basketball at Carver. There's a festive air here at the Hyatt Regency Coralville in anticipation for their annual Breakfast with Santa. And jot it down. It's coming up December 14th. Their family-friendly holiday breakfast includes a photo with Santa and Mrs. Claus, a holiday craft, a fair, and everyone's favorite breakfast foods. You can grab your tickets from the Hyatt Regency here in Coralville. Do it from their Facebook page or call them at 319-688-4028. 319-688-4028. Breakfast with Santa on December 14th. This is Hawk Talk from the Hyatt with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery in Learfield.
Tournament Club of Iowa, designed by golf legend Arnold Palmer. TCI is his only signature course in the state. TCI is a public course offering a challenging yet enticing experience for golfers of all levels and is managed by Kaler Golf. Cap off your round with breathtaking views and a delicious meal at the TCI Bar and Grill. Looking for a unique setting for your wedding party or outing? Look no further than the newly renovated clubhouse at TCI. Visit tcofiowa.com to book your tee time today.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to us mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
Cancer doesn't care. It doesn't care what you look like, how old you are, what you do, or where you live. We do. University of Iowa Healthcare is doing more to beat cancer than anyone in the state. From second opinions to life-saving treatments that happen here first. We lead the way in research, training, and care because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
People are having a hard time containing their excitement about the new Holiday Scratch and Instaplay tickets from the Iowa Lottery.
Holiday tickets? I love these!
Especially when they find out you can win part of over $1 million in second chance cash prizes when you enter any holiday ticket in the Iowa Lottery's VIP Club.
$1 million? Woohoo!
Yes, woohoo indeed. Cash prizes are coming to town from the Iowa Lottery.
Woohoo!
See rules at ialottery.com/VIP.
I'm Nick Jackson. I play linebacker here at the University of Iowa. On the field, I stop the run, I make the tackle, I drop in coverage.
3rd down 11. Straight back to pass is Sullivan. He's running for his life. Down he goes. That's a loss of another 6. Nick Jackson.
Off the field, I help my body's defense by choosing vaccines that are right for me. Ask your doctor or healthcare provider which vaccines are right for you.
A message from Iowa HHS.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
We're back on Hawk Talk at the Hyatt Regency with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery. Time for our Midwest One Stat of the Week. As the presenting sponsor of Hawkeye men's basketball, Midwest One Bank is the proud partner of doers and entrepreneurs. Our teams are ready to help you reach your business goals. It's empowered money management. That's Midwest One Bank, member FDIC. Coach, Owen Freeman, 18 points, 11 rebounds the other night in Kansas City. 2 of the last 3 games he's posted double-doubles. He's averaging a team-best 17.5 points and 9 rebounds in 5 games, shooting 63% from the floor, and he missed a game with 102 temperature. Our Midwest One Stat of the week is he's just a double-double machine, but he's so much more than that.
Yeah, he keeps getting better. He got bigger. He wanted to get bigger over the summer. He lifted, and it's one of those things where it has helped him in a lot of ways. Like he's really physical in the post, and he's able to use his body. But at the same time, one of the things I think that separated him from most players, and that's why he's great, is he can run and he can jump. So it's a fine line. Okay, you get bigger. Can you maintain your running and jumping? So he's figuring that out right now, because he's tiring a little bit, and if he gets tired, then he gets in foul trouble. We don't want that. We want him out on the floor. So we're trying to peel a little bit of weight off him and keep him running and jumping. That's when the real Owen Freeman shows up. But his numbers have been tremendous. He's really consistent, and just as you know, Dal, as fine a person as you'll ever meet.
Oh,
great family.
Terrific.
Love that kid.
Coach, we really appreciate Chip and the crew at Midwest One Bank for hopping on the Hawkeye bandwagon this year. They've been a supporter for many years, but especially this year, one of our primary proud partners and sponsors of Hawkeye basketball.
Well, Chip and I, he's a good friend. I mean, when they moved to town a few years ago, for him to take over, I met he and his son, JT, who plays with Jack at West High. So he's on the team there, can really shoot it. But, basketball family, and we're just thankful for them to jump on board. He told me he was going to do it, and he certainly did, and incredibly appreciative to his generosity.
Chip, also a heck of a player on the MAC a few years ago. All right, give us a capsulization of what we're facing tomorrow night in this South Carolina Upstate team.
Interesting team. You look at them, and it starts, I guess, with Mr. Dean, and that's his name.
Mr. Dean.
Yeah, if your name's Mr. Dean, you better be good.
You better be pretty important.
You can't be a scrub if your name's Mr. Dean.
No.
And trust me, he is not. He had this year. He had top highlight on ESPN one game. I mean, he's a high flyer. But they have a lot of really good players. I've been really impressed with it. They're not big, but they're quick, and they'll play 4 guards, 5 guards. They go off the bounce. A number of games this year, Dolph, they had 6 different guys make a 3, which is rare. But, the best way to describe them, they got a bunch of ballers. They just hoop. And they they take you off the bounce and hit step-back jumpers and fly up and down the floor. Kind of like us, they'll try to score right on top of you. You score, and they have it to the other end of the floor in 3 seconds. Attacking the rim, so defense has to get back. Tough schedule they've played. All right, they played a really tough schedule, but I've been really impressed with them. The Wake Forest game, they were down 1 with 25 seconds on the road. So that tells you, what they're capable of.
Played 4 straight Division I opponents. Mr. Dean, by the way, is averaging 18 points, 6.5 rebounds, and he's got a team-high 13 steals. So
he leads them in points, rebounds, and assists. Yeah. It won't take you long to see him. He'll do something right away that's spectacular.
Mr. Dean.
Number 5.
7 o'clock tomorrow night, 6 o'clock for the pregame show. One final break. We'll come back and wrap up this week's Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from Learfield right after this.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024 U.S. Bank.
Cancer doesn't care. It doesn't care what you look like, how old you are, what you do, or where you live. We do. University of Iowa Healthcare is doing more to beat cancer than anyone in the state. From second opinions to life-saving treatments that happen here first. We lead the way in research, training, and care because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Midwest One believed in us and gave us the money to get started, and it was great.
We're talking with Jack Piper of Jimmy Jack's Rib Shack.
In 2005, they were there when we opened Jimmy Jack's Rib Shack. They've been there every step of the way with funding and great feedback on how to expand our brand. Midwest One Bank has been great, and with the recent uncertain times, we got through it, thanks to Midwest One Bank.
Midwest One Bank. Simply better banking. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
When you live in the Midwest, you're accustomed to leading the nation in certain things, from corn and pork production to eggs and soybeans. And now we're adding another product to that list, clean, renewable wind energy. By investing in wind turbines and partnering with area farmers and landowners, Mid-American Energy is harvesting wind power that's homegrown right in our very own backyard, which not only provides customers with low, stable energy rates, but also the support to make our Midwest communities safer and stronger.
Time now for the Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield Health Coverage Report. When you enroll in a Wellmark individual or family health plan, you get an HMO network that includes over 32,000 providers. Plus, you get support from a company that's been serving Iowans for 85 years. Now, those are some impressive numbers, and that's health coverage you can feel confident in. Find the right plan for you at wellmark.com/covered. Enrollment ends January 15th.
Welcome back to our remaining moments with Coach Fran McCaffery on our opening night, our maiden voyage of Hawk Talk. Thanks to the folks for coming out tonight on a windy, chilly November evening. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Okay, Fran, we're in the lightning round here. We got just a couple minutes left. Got a couple I want to get in here on Twitter. Mike says, Coach, we were in Moline for the game versus Washington State. What a great atmosphere. Can we get a game down in the Quad Cities every year?
I'm in favor of that. I mean, the way those fans showed up for that game.
It's fantastic.
It's a great facility. Scott Mullen does a great job over there. Good friend. I think that's something we have to seriously consider.
Thanks for the question. Jim is in Ankeny. Whatever happened to former Hawkeye great Dean Oliver after he left Wisconsin? Is he still coaching? I think he's back at Iowa, isn't he?
He's coaching Iowa United in Des Moines.
Is that an AAU?
It's a high school. Well, they have both.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a national high school that they play all over the country. They play a national schedule. They don't play under the Iowa rules. And they have a bunch of guys from foreign countries.
Wow.
Devon goes there.
What's the age group of the players?
High school.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all
post-high school.
They're all high school kids. Yeah, I've been over there. Dean's terrific. He does a great job. And it was a great hire, and he was excited about the opportunity.
Well, there you go, Jim and Ankeny. Thanks for the question. Julie in Osage. Is your son Jack playing for West High? Well, yes, he is.
Yeah.
And how much time will you and Margaret have in splitting up watching him play here? And Patrick at Butler. Now, are you heading out to watch?
I want to go see Patrick out in Phoenix on Thanksgiving.
This Thursday?
Yeah, because I'm not going to get a chance to see him very much. Margaret's been down there 3 or 4 times. Jack's season, of course, hasn't started yet. So, when that happens, then, she'll be splitting time between Jack and Patrick.
All right, one final one here. Kelly in Des Moines, and only you could answer this at a moment's notice. What would be a few adjectives you might use to describe this year's team? We got about 30 seconds.
They're connected, a connected group with great leadership, but I've been really impressed going to practice every day, starting in June with, you have 2 freshmen, you have 2 transfers, and you have a lot of returners. The way they have blended and meshed together has been really impressive, Dolph.
Good adjective, connected. Yeah. See you tomorrow night.
See you tomorrow night, Dolph.
Okay, Bobby.
Thanks, Bobby.
Thanks for your time, bud. Hey, the Hawkeyes are bowl eligible. Sign up at HawkeyeSports.com/Bowl Central to get game tickets, travel, and hotel info as soon as the bowl game is announced. Presented by Travel Leaders Destinations Unlimited, Iowa's official bowl tour. Hawks in Nebraska Friday night at 6:30 here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Basketball tomorrow night, Iowa and South Carolina upstate. We'll talk at 6 o'clock in the pregame. 7 for the tip from the Hyatt Regency in Coralville. Good night, everybody.
Live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar inside the Hyatt Regency in Coralville. This has been Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery. Brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Hy-Vee. Score big savings with a Hy-Vee Perks membership. Iowa Corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. Mid-American Energy. Look up, look out for overhead power lines. Visit MidAmericanEnergy.com for electrical safety tips. Midwest One Bank is the presenting sponsor of Hawkeye men's basketball. Visit MidwestOne.bank for empowered money management. Member FDIC. Wimmer's Meats, the official hot dog of the Hawkeyes. Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Made right here in Iowa since 1895. By your local Ford dealers. Iowa Lottery. Be a VIP with the Iowa Lottery. Visit IALottery.com for details. University of Iowa Healthcare. Changing medicine, changing lives. And by U.S. Cellular, the official wireless partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes. U.S. Cellular, built for us. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.